Hi and welcome to A World of Words. I'm Vanessa and today I'm going to be talking about The Selection by Kira Cass. So I was not expecting to like this book half as much as I did. That's the first thing I'm going to say. There were so many mixed reviews on BookTube about this book. Most of them were saying that the main character, America, was very unlikable. A lot of them were just saying that it just wasn't their thing for whatever reason and they didn't enjoy it, and that a lot of other people said that it was really entertaining. And I actually have a friend who says it was really entertaining, and so she was like, you should read it. And I was asking about the main character. My friend didn't find her annoying, and I didn't find her annoying either. I am on America's side, actually. I'm on America's side. Sounds like a patriotic statement, but I'm really just on this girl's side. I've heard so many things about this character, how she's so unlikable, so I went into it a little skeptical, like almost slightly judgmental towards her. And then partway through I was just reading the book and sympathizing with her, and then I realized, wait, I don't find her annoying. I'm not sure who does. I think it might be because of the prince, but I'll go into that in a minute. So for this spoiler-free section, I just want to say that it was a really fun, fast-paced read. I read it in about a day. I read almost the whole thing yesterday, and this morning I woke up and read the last 40 pages. It was really enjoyable. It's about a girl in a futuristic version of America. It's called Ilia? I think it's Ilia now, and the country, it's like sometime in the future there have been four world wars at this point. The last war was won by some guy named Gregory Ilia, and he renamed the country after himself. I think it was Gregory. I hope it was. I just read this yesterday. I should know their names. So yeah, it was interesting to see that futuristic version of America. Obviously this came out during the dystopian craze when everything was a futuristic version of America. So, you know, I was expecting it. It's also kind of fun to compare and contrast the different future versions of America that people create, because while this also does have a caste system that I think reminds me not so much of Hunger Games, because they are separated out into districts and they do refer to themselves kind of like as representatives of their district, but all of the districts are separated. Here it's a caste system where they all seem to live, like there can be rich people and poor people kind of close together as it is here, you know. In America nowadays, there can be a really rich neighborhood pretty close to a fairly poor neighborhood. And then there are all the ones in between. And what was interesting about this was that the caste depended, kind of controlled what kind of jobs you would have. And that part reminded me of Divergent. And also Matched by Ali Condi. It reminded me a little bit of that in the beginning, where they had very limited options of what they were allowed to do with their future, essentially. So many dystopians. Back to the story. So this was often compared to The Bachelor, but like a YA dystopian bachelor situation, which it was. I don't really watch a lot of reality TV unless there's like singing involved or dancing or something. I'm not currently following any of them right now, but off and on I do follow the ones that have like singing or dancing in them. But I've never really been interested in just like the plain straight up like drama ones, like The Bachelor, Bachelorette. There are a bunch of popular ones that I just really haven't watched. But I did actually watch an episode of The Bachelor for research. So this did remind me very much of The Bachelor. I was kind of expecting a little bit more drama, which would have been fun. There was Celeste, who wasn't super nice, but she did a few things, but I felt like it should have been like a lot more, and then her like nicing up to Maxon, and then, you know, just a little bit more, because like I didn't hate her, like I didn't like her, but I didn't like hate her quite as much as I think I'm meant to like despise her. Like I just don't like her, but I don't like despise her. I feel like she should have done more. She should have said a few more like horrible, nasty things about the other girls, I feel like that would have made it a lot more like intense and antagonistic, because right now, like when you're thinking about it, I don't feel like there's a real antagonist to the story except for the people who are raiding the castle. I think I'm just gonna go into spoilers now because I don't know how to talk about this without potentially spoiling it. So if you haven't read it, I would recommend the selection. If you like, one, if you do like dystopians, you'll probably like it. If you like The Bachelor, you will probably like it. If you, like, I don't particularly love dystopians or The Bachelor, and I really enjoyed it. I normally like straight up fantasy and maybe some contemporary cute romance. It does have romance in it, so if you like a romance, you'll probably like it. I don't really know what to say about the main character because a lot of people seem to hate her for some reason, and I'm going to go in her defense in a minute. But I say if you're interested in it, give it a shot. That's really all I can say about any book. Why not? So, for spoilers, I wasn't expecting the raids on the castle because it just wasn't ever mentioned in any summaries of the book. And I found them really interesting and really exciting, and I'm really curious to see Max's theory about, are they stealing things? What are they looking for? I'm really interested to see that come into play, actually. I really hope it does later on, and I'll honestly be pretty disappointed if it does not. Oh yeah, so in defense of America, I really found her very sympathetic. I don't really make a point to read reviews or really watch reviews about a book that I'm potentially interested in reading. I like to go into it as blind as possible because I just always enjoy it more that way. I think people might be upset because America could be, I guess, a little more nicer to Maxon, or they don't understand how she's not falling head over heels for him because he's pretty awesome. Like, he's great. I understand why people love Maxon. I think I love Maxon too. He's so sweet, and he hasn't shown a single bad quality. He's almost ridiculously perfect, actually, now that I think about it. Like, who is that perfect, really? This is why young adult books spoil you for the real world. No one's really that perfect. It's just not fair. See what I mean? I don't take notes and then I just... What was I saying? Honestly, she is recovering from a broken heart. This guy who she was in love with and wanted to marry broke her heart by saying that he no longer wanted to be with her. So, can you really blame her for not jumping right into the arms of like the next nice guy she meets? Like, I feel like she's very mature in that way, that she doesn't want to promise him anything because she doesn't think she's ready to, you know, fall in love right away again, especially since he then showed up there. So I don't think she's unreasonable at all, and then especially since Aspen keeps like coming into her room and talking about how he still loves her now. She's confused. The poor thing is very confused. Like, she has these two good guys who love her, which is, you know, like, so sad. Like, oh, you poor thing. But really, she is very confused. So I am very sympathetic to her. I also like that she's super nice to her maids. I think her bonding with her maids is just super cute and adorable. I like her relationship with Marley. Marley is just, I keep calling her Marley, but it's Marley, I'm pretty sure. Like the girl from Glee. She's super cute, super nice. I do kind of like that Marley is not super into Prince Maxon, because I'm pretty sure America ends up with Maxon, considering the next series is about their daughter who's a princess. So I think I've been spoiled for that. So yeah, at this point I wouldn't even be able to tell you what my ship is, America and Maxon versus America and Aspen, because I'm almost positive she ends up with Maxon. Like, 99.9% sure. I'd be a little confused if she didn't. I'm actually still a little bit angry at Aspen for reacting the way he did, because he said he felt bad as soon as he climbed down the ladder. Why didn't he climb back up the ladder and tell her how he felt? It wasn't too late at that point. He could have just climbed back up and been like, oh, I'm sorry. But he didn't, so that was stupid. Oh yeah, about Marley. I'm kind of happy that Marley isn't feeling super connected to Maxon, because, you know, that would make things a little awkward near the end, and that might ruin their friendship near the end. And I'm really hoping that maybe Marley and Aspen will get together, because that would be really cool. Because Aspen's really sweet and Marley's really sweet, and so if they're together, that would be really sweet. Aww. Oh, I forgot to mention what I was suspicious about. Okay. I'm suspicious of the king, for one, I think. I think I'm suspicious about him. I'm suspicious about someone up high in the royalty situation because they aren't allowed to read history books and study history. And I find that extremely suspicious that they're not allowed to study history, that you're supposed to know history, but you're not supposed to, it's to be known, not to be studied, which I think is a really weird sentence. Yeah, so I find it very suspicious that they're not allowed to read a history book and that the history book she got from her dad is like hush hush and you have to keep it a secret and pages are ripped out. And the fact that pages are ripped out also makes me suspicious. Like, I think something very shifty is going on up there in the royalty situation of Ilya, which, you know, it claims to be perfect when it obviously is very flawed, as every dystopian is. So I'm very curious to know what's going on with that. Because wasn't the king unhappy when he announced that he was going to give money to the poor people? I feel like the king was unhappy. I'm actually really happy about that because otherwise it would have seemed a little bit like not enough was going on in the series. So I'm glad they kind of brought bigger issues into it, as well as just being the cute romance, because all I ever heard about was the cute romance and I didn't hear anything about anything outside of the selection, really. So I'm excited to see where that stuff goes, and I'm very excited to see what happens next. I will definitely be reading the next book, The Elite, which also was a bit of a spoiler because I knew she made it to the Elite because the second book is called The Elite and it's right inside here. I think that's all I really want to discuss about it, so I'm going to wrap it up and just say that I really enjoyed this book. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. The only reason why I didn't give it a 5 out of 5 stars is because I like to follow the Goodreads ratings, and if you ever look at what it actually says when you, like, people have their own personal rating systems within the 5 stars, but I like to just follow the actual star rating, and if you look at it on Goodreads, when you hover over 5 stars means it was amazing, 4 stars means I really liked it, 3 stars actually means I liked it, which I think a lot of people use 3 stars to mean they really didn't like it, because 2 stars is it was okay, and then 1 star is I didn't like it, I believe. People give 3 stars, they usually mean it was okay, which would be a 2-star rating if you actually follow what Goodreads says. And I don't think people do follow what Goodreads says, but I like to follow it because for me it makes it less confusing. My immediate reaction after I finished it was I really liked it. That's why I rate it 4 stars, because 4 stars means I really liked it, and that is a very, very honest reaction from me. I hope you enjoyed this review. Again, let me know what you thought of this book in the comments below. I would love to hear what you have to say and then we can discuss it. And thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up to let me know, and please subscribe if you want to see more of my videos. Again, I'm Vanessa, and have a wonderful day. Bye!